Hi Kirsty, how are you?
Well, how are you?
Good, thank you. Thank you very much for participating in the pilot. Today we're going to be looking at merchandising food products as your unit that we'll be assessing. So just starting off with today, this will probably go for about 20 minutes, and we're basically going to be going through each of the questions and the assessment tools that we're going to be using for your unit. And if you have any questions or anything like that, just feel free to ask me at any time. As I said, this is a pilot, so if anything needs to change, you'll have an opportunity to give that assessment and your feedback at the end in an evaluation tool. Okay?
Perfect.
Great, thank you. So just to give you some context of how we're actually going to be running these assessments is we're going to be doing them over Zoom. The portfolio I'm going to get you to do in your own time at your desk, obviously because we don't have a real work environment that you can do. But the background of yourself is that you've completed a certificate 3 in food handling. So now we're looking at doing the certificate 4 in your food safety. So this is part of the units that's going to go towards your qualification. Aside from that, do you have any safety issues or anything like that over Zoom today? Nothing that's going to get in the way? No. And I'm going to have your results out to you within a week once we complete the assessment, so you'll know how you went. You do have the opportunity for a second go at your assessments. So if you fail the first time or don't pass, I'll absolutely give you feedback to make sure that we can get you a pass the next time around. But you'll have 2 opportunities for both assessment tools that we use today. The portfolio we normally say is about 3 weeks to get that into us, and the verbal assessment today we have up to 1 hour allocated. So if you need more time, just let us know. But yeah, aside from that, it's open book. So if you have any notes from anything that you've learnt, or if you want to use the internet, you're very, very welcome to. We ask that you don't speak to any other people during the assessments, just to make sure all the answers are coming from you. But aside from that, do you have any other questions before we take a look at the 2 assessments? Great,
Okay.
Perfect, thank you. So I'll just get you to open up the booklet that I sent you with the portfolio assessment and also the verbal questioning assessment.
Yeah.
So basically the portfolio is to be done over 3 weeks, and what we're hoping to achieve is for you to show the elements of preparing a food for your food display, and then displaying your food products, and then maintaining that food display. So there's quite a few elements that are attached to that, but hopefully what we're going to do is we're going to get you to do 4 different examples of merchandising a display, and we're going to get you to follow the step-by-step instructions that you can see within that document. So you need to choose 2 of the following food groups, which is either fresh food produce, baked food items, general grocery items, or food items requiring specific temperature control. So as long as you pick 2 different types within that, it doesn't matter if you do 1 fresh food and 3 of another kind, that's just general grocery items, that's fine, but we just need to see that there's 2 different examples in there.
Perfect. Yeah.
Great. And then basically from there, we just want to make sure that your displays are of different sizes and complexities as well. So if it is something that's just on a shelf, or something that requires maybe a bit more display, like a deli, something like that, where there's several different items within a small area, that's fine. So as long as we have kind of varying sizes and complexities, that would be great too.
Yeah.
So we just want to know, there's 9 questions. How does your display line up with your organisation guidelines? What cleaning and sanitation was undertaken? What safety equipment was used and why? Showcasing food storage instructions to ensure that you have safe handling of food. Outlining what you did to ensure the safe handling of food while you prepared your display. Do you have any questions so far on any of those?
No, just want to clarify that I have to do, so I have to answer those questions written, but also have to provide a picture for each question. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So once you're actually going through each stage or each display, we'd really love basically an evaluation and then a picture attached, just so we can see that it has actually been done. because we're not going to necessarily have anyone out on site to see these displays. So yeah, that'll be your evidence. Thank you. We need you to outline the safe storage of food and any overstock items from the display. We need to know what steps were taken over the week just to maintain your display. So maybe a journal or something like that you can provide. Any damaged or spoiled foods, what steps you took to dispose of those, and how you correctly wrapped and labeled all your food in the range. Okay, perfect. So we'll get you to send that one in separately. How would you like to send that in? We generally recommend email. Is that okay for you?
Yeah, email would be perfect. Yeah.
Perfect, thank you. So if there's any other final questions for the portfolio?
I think that's all pretty self-explanatory. Thank you.
Thank you. The next stage is verbal assessment questions. So we can actually do this now over Zoom. So what I'm going to do is basically I'm going to take on the role of your assessor, and I'm actually going to pretend to be a health safety inspector that generally come around to workplaces to check on the quality and procedures in food handling. So this is just going to be done in real time over Zoom. I apologize, there's not an opportunity to do this in the workplace, but like I said, open book, you're very welcome to do that. Do you have any special needs or anything like that before we continue the interview?
No. Yeah.
Great. So this is going to be graded as a pass or a fail. So we just need to make sure that you pass every single question within the assessment in order to pass in full. But basically this is we've got an hour for you to do this, but hopefully we can get that done nice and quickly. You have another attempt if you get it wrong. But yeah, we'll get started. So the first question is question number 1. What is the purpose of organizations' policies for food safety?
Okay, so our food safety policy provides guidelines for effective food safety practices. I use a policy to ensure that the food that I sell or handle is safe for human consumption. The food safety program also helps to maintain safe food handling practices and protect customers from the public from hazardous foods. So I use this policy every time that I handle food, and to protect my customers from hazardous food and ensure they receive fresh produce they can enjoy, and then also to ensure my business is able to operate within the legislation and organisational processes.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you. Question 2 is outline your... All right, so question 2 was outline your organisation's procedures to ensure hygiene and sanitation.
Okay, so we have a sanitation plan that's to be completed each day with the date and then signed by the employee that completes it. It contains a few things, obviously. So it contains a list of cleaning and sanitising agents or supplies with instructions on their responsible and how frequently it has to happen. So, for example, written procedures on each piece of equipment, how to clean and monitor it, signage for hand washing procedures, or signage for equipment and PPE, or signage for chemicals, their uses and storage requirements.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. So question 3 is, can you list 4 important elements of a food display?
Sure. So one would be safe. So avoid displaying like hot food or have hot food out of reach of children, height, and also contamination. Clean. So ensure food remains fresh, free from contamination, and reduces the impacts of food poisoning. Lighting, so ability for people to actually see the items on display creates a better colour for appearance. And signage with like pricing and what the item is, etc.
Wonderful, thank you. Can you define the following terms and what is required in your role? So the first term is stock rotation.
So stock rotation is where you put all new stock to the rear or underneath already stored stock, so that the existing stock is used first, and then that prevents stockpiling older supplies, which obviously could deteriorate or exceed their use by date. So I complete this when updating my displays and ensure I keep my displays full by replenishing overstocked items, and then complete this task by putting the newest item to the back.
Great, thank you. What about stock replenishment?
So that is an operation that consists in ordering more stock in order to fulfill customer demand. So I complete that by monitoring my displays, obviously, and completing my stock orders regularly.
Great, thank you. And the definition of damaged stock?
So damaged stock is products that are broken effectively, so cracked or scratched. I write like a comprehensive report of the damage and then dispose of the damaged product accordingly.
Great, thank you. And principles of display?
So principles of display are customization of display, feature products, showcase combinations, organising things maybe in height order, branding, cost, and then signage as well.
Great, thank you. And the last one is merchandise display materials.
So merchandise displays are like special presentations of a store's products, so as to attract and entice the public to buy them. I use these if we have like a special promotion or product that we want to sell.
Great, perfect, thank you. Question number 5 is, what is the importance of storing food in an appropriate time frame?
So if you store food properly, you will keep it in good condition, safe from the growth of like bacteria that could cause food poisoning. You'll also reduce waste.
Great. So question number 6 is, what reporting tools can be used to ensure proper monitoring of food storage?
So you can use a journal, a diary, incident reports, ordering reports, wastage reports, disposal reports, and rostering.
Great, thank you. And how can you identify the requirements of each item for display, storage, and handling?
So you can use food labels, food brochures, the internet, suppliers, colleagues, managers, and the food safety guide.
Great. And can you list 5 techniques that you use to create visually appealing and safe food displays?
Yeah, sure. So we use signage as one to help customers also identify items. Another would be to make sure that potentially hazardous foods are displayed at a safe temperature. We protect food with food grade cling wrap is another one, or bags or paper strips or containers, depending on what it is. We separate out ready to eat foods from raw foods, and we use platters or containers and benches that are really easy to clean and sanitize.
Great, thank you. And the last question is, what tools or skills can be used to monitor food safety?
So you can use food labelling to outline storage requirements and use-by dates, journals which outline when it was received, unpacked, displays, etc. to record all of that. Sight, you can just look at the food to see if it's discoloured or has a different texture, and smell, obviously, if the food has a different scent to when it was fresh. And then the last one would be temperature control, so regularly keeping track of the temperature to ensure the food that's...
All right, thanks very much for your answers today, Kirsty. Did you have any questions before we finish up for the day? No? Wonderful. So I'm going to have those answers out to you within the next week. And what will happen from here is I'll actually send through an evaluation checklist that I'd like you to provide some feedback on the assessment. So if you can complete that and send it back to me, that would be really great. But aside from that, thank you very much for your assessment today. You've done really well.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye.